Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation. Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation.
Civil War was over and life was looking splendid. The Union had prevailed and slavery had ended. Human beings could no longer be bought and sold, but in the South, the Jim Crow laws took hold, saying restaurants, hotels, schools, or other spaces should be separate but equal for the different races. Separate but real, but equal? No way. So she challenged it, but the court said it was okay. The law was just one form of persecution. Mobs took part in the violent retribution, beating them down when they stood up for their rights, or killing black men just for looking at whites. The NAACP fought Jim Crow in courts, but to turn the tide of racism, they needed more support. They said, how can we do this? There aren't enough of us. And Rosa Parks took a seat on that bus.
Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation. Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation.
Rosa Parks stood up by sitting down and refused to move just because her skin was brown, and got arrested and sent to jail for her defiance. Dr. King found a way to protest without violence. He led the movement through the SCLC, nonviolent resistance just like Gandhi. Marches and sit-ins and boycotts of courts, but a peaceful demonstration often meant brute force from fellow Americans who didn't like that blacks could be treated equally to whites. There was beatings and arrests, but support was gained for the nationwide civil rights campaign. Martin Luther King had a dream that all God's children would be judged equally, but in a blink of an eye, he was gone. A bullet brought him down, but his dream lived on.
Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation. Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation.
The civil rights movement. Are there specific ways to measure the improvements? Supreme Court cases and congressional acts. They're complex, but here are the basic facts.
In the Brown v. Board of Education, the Supreme Court had paved the way for integration, but Little Rock High School said they'd rather close than make white goes to school with Negroes.
But the Civil Rights Act of '64, segregation can never be legal anymore. Then the Voting Rights Act, the very next year, the voting discrimination must disappear.
So we applaud the courage of our brothers and sisters who had put 100 years of resistance to a system that was cruel and unjust. Still work to be done, but now it's up to us.
Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation. Police dogs are fire hoses, tear gas and broken noses, boycotts, marches, demonstrations, the fight for civil rights throughout the nation.